Happy Monday, everybody. This is Crypto and Coffee with your favorite uh, trading bros here. And hope everyone had a great weekend. We did have some downside action a little last night. Looks like New York may be coming back up with the stop onto the high, or maybe it's going to break through and have some continuation. So let's jump on the charts and do a little analysis, a little chit chatting, and see what we can come up with. So, what you got, man?
What's up, Clutch? So essentially, let me look at my messy chart here. I've got a bunch of stuff kind of working, but we had this big pump on last week that got us up to these highs. Is 2019, 2020, and then we started to pull back, just a little bit, based upon that. And so I think what's basically happened is we've gotten up here into this range. You got a lot of breakout traders that were very happy with this. We got back up here, touched, and then came back for another breakout, pulled back, brought those guys, back down, liquidated some of them, took out some stops, then made another move back up. Again, another trap to the upside, came all the way back down to the 200. And so now it's going to be a matter of, are we going to range within this area, which I think is most likely between this 2019 and kind of this 1867, maybe even a little bit lower. So, we do have a little bit of, support. This was an accumulation zone. And so when we touched it, busted through that, came back and touched it again on the second tap, which normally moves back to the upside. I think you had some longs that came on board. We busted through that. And I think now we've got some shorts that are trapped down. We'll be able to see that in a little bit. But I would anticipate that with the amount of shorts that we have trapped here, that we'll probably range back up and retest these highs. And at that point, we'll decide whether or not they're going to keep rewarding breakout traders or we're going to do a swing pattern failure. I do have a line here at 2107, which is another peak. We could get up into this area and start this whole process again relative to trapped into the upside. But we'll just have to see it. But from what I am seeing today, I think we'll have another move to the upside relative to, we've got daily open up here, psychological levels up here, last week's high. We also have a zone up here as well. But from my perspective, just looking at the charts on the 1 hour, I think we move up for the day. Again, on the 14-minute, which is a little shorter time frame, we've got, kind of this testing of the 800. All these tests, boom, 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 boom. We're probably trapping shorts at this point because we've broken through this level here. We'll probably move up to take those guys out. So again, we've got daily open inside. I've got 1942, which is the 200 on this particular chart. You got pivot point above us at 1966, and you've got really the next major peak at 2014. So again, anticipate coming up, and we've got, when you start looking at this, momentum waves are lower. So, moving back up would make sense from that perspective as well. Was looking at this chart a little bit earlier. And what this chart is the OI chart that we normally looked at, but, added in the CVD on the spot. This is on the 15-minute. One of the things I will tell you is when you look at this drop here, this is kind of something that I noticed. Again, that drop was mainly spot, but your open interest, which would be your perpetual on this, increased. So that's why I say you probably got a lot of shorts that came on board with this, because when price drops and OI increases, you're generally getting an increase in that short side, which again would tell me that we're moving to the upside this morning. Funding rate, probably when I looked at it earlier, says a little bit different, relative to the amounts of course, this is Binance, so that may be a part of it that we're looking at a Binance chart. But, overall, kind of the sentiment, if I was to look at, kind of the aggregate, especially on the predicted rate, looks like we're still pretty flat, relative to that. As far as the equities are concerned, I think when I saw it early, we were below. For whatever reason, this thing doesn't like to pull up the futures
Yeah.
anymore for me. Have you noticed that on your side too, or is that just me?
It must just be you.
Yeah. So, and I've tried it a couple different times. Maybe I need to reset on that. But we've got this Empire State Manufacturing Index came out and missed horribly. So all this means is that we've got a slowdown in manufacturing, which is something that we don't need. But the sentiment relative to the business is negative, and therefore I think we'll have some. Uh, maybe this will help to trap some of those shorts. I do think on the short term we move up, but this is not good news as far as the week is concerned. We've got some housing data that's coming out,
Let me ask you a
which is
question
always
though. If we don't have good news, why do you think that we're heading to the upside?
well, you know that normally when we get negative news, people have a negative sentiment, a negative bias. Therefore, they're more apt to get into a short. And therefore, if you're trapping shorts, you'll have some spikes to the downside, and then you'll have a move to the upside in order to keep those folks trapped and probably move up into that area that we talked about in order to take out those stops and do some liquidations on that end.
Cool.
So that's kind of the thought process behind it. If we look at market watch in general, markets right now, are they just open, so no, I'm not sure why it's still saying futures, but we've got negative to flat across the board, negative all across the board, from that standpoint. uh you know Ready to cash out some gains on the stock market run. I mean, here's your typical news that you're getting out there, that helps influence some of that sentiment, but negative now, kind of moving up from there. But I did look at these earlier today and they were negative, so not surprising that we probably have a little bit of bounce here at the open, and probably range out for the day, but I would anticipate a move to the upside here pretty quick.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's what I got on my end. With what we got on your end, Clutch?
Well, let's see. So you should be able to see High Block Capital coming up.
Yep.
Okay, so as you guys know, we like to look at this chart every day. Not freaking working right now. But anyway, as you can see, we hold on, reloading. There we go. So on Thursday, we were at 23 billion in positive cumulative liquidation delta, and now we're down to just about 3.7. We've worked our range due to the time frame, that big $200 million liquidation that we were talking about down in the 1720 areas. Well, that's not showing up anymore. And we're getting pretty close to being even on the Delta 4 long and short liquidation. So I do think there's a possibility that we could do a little bit more ranging to the downside, just so we can finish kind of flipping this book and then do our continuation to the upside, as B. Wellington mentioned. So again, that's on the chart. And again, hey guys, I'm a CME guy. There is an open CME at 1262, which is a long way down from where we're at. So just be cautious if we do start moving down down into that territory later this week. That may be where we're heading. So that's an if at this point. Absolutely, we could continue to the upside as well. So just keep that on your radar. If we're going to look over at High Block Capital, or not High Block, I'm sorry, Bookmap. You should be able to see, let me know when you can see Bookmap.
I can see Bookmap now.
Okie dokie. So Bookmap, as you can see, we are heavily weighted to the upside right now. We're right at 1906. The chart volume profile is right here at the top of it's right here around 1912, and you can see right here in the lower volume nodes around 1920 on the session volume profile. They need to be filled, and the VWAP's up above us around 1930. Sliding out to get a little bit bigger picture to maybe get a good idea where we're heading. We got a lot of orders once we get past that 1930 area, sitting up here at 2000. And then we have orders that, these are heavy orders, and then but we still do have a nice cluster of orders down here, 1860, 1820. So again, kind of based on your comment earlier about just kind of ranging the rest of the day, I would definitely say that's probably your range, even though it is maybe a big one. But 2,000, 1850, us kind of ranging around in that area today, I think is probably a pretty high probability. So, yeah, I think we're just going to see some ranging today. I don't think we're going to see any major movements, but I do think the daily open, which is right above us, in daily open is at 1933, and I would say daily open's definitely in play coming up a little later today.
Well, that
So,
sounds good. It also sounds like you're in a short.
I am in a short.
I knew it.
Gave it away. I
I
gave
knew
it
it.
away. Did you?
Yeah.
Man, you think you know me? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I do.
So, yeah,
Well,
man.
that's all I got. I mean, look, we this is a pretty light news week. We're in this new range, so we just got here, so I would expect us to be here for a minute and kind of accumulate before it decides on which direction it wants to go. But it does look like it's kind of in that trappy phase where it's trying to transition from one short bias to a long bias, or a long bias to a short bias. But so we'll see. It's going to be an interesting week, and we'll see what happens.
For
Monday,
sure.
fun day. Monday, fun day.
Hey, Friday's fun day, man. No, just kidding. We will see you guys same time, same place tomorrow morning. And again, we do think it's going to be a rangy day today, so stay frosty, my friends. Until next time, AM.